Hi, it's Ron again, just making another video. I mostly want to post a kind of update and progress report and talk for a minute about why I'm doing what I'm doing with these videos and podcasts. Uh, it's the morning of October 7th, 2020, which is also the 11th anniversary of the last time that I saw my mom in person. And anyone who knows me knows that I was pretty close to my mom. I was mama's boy, but we just thought a lot alike, and uh, led to a lot of great memories. But October 7th is the 11th anniversary when I last saw her in person. I flew up to Boston the next morning for 15 days because I was running two big road races up there, which was overdoing it, but you live and learn. And the the night I came back, I took the red-eye flight, the very last flight out of Logan Airport on October 21st. And while I was in the air, sometime while I was in the air coming back, she died suddenly and unexpectedly. Um, and October 7th is also my 17-month anniversary, I guess you can call it, of sobriety. I quit drinking approximately May 7, 2019. And speaking of sobriety, one reason I'm up at this time of the it's about 5 o'clock in the morning, and one reason that I've been restless and up tonight is the passing of Edward Van Halen from cancer. And I don't know how many people know this, but he sobered up years ago. He did have a drinking problem many years ago, and he sobered up. And like his son Wolfgang, who played bass in the band, I told him many times his playing was better after he sobered up. That's something that something to think about for anyone who's achieved sobriety, and of course it's always an ongoing process, or anyone who's thinking about attempting sobriety. I know personally your thinking does get clearer. Uh, you have more clarity, you have more focus. I know that I can write better. I wrote more than a few stories, drunk or stoned, and they turned out pretty good. This is many years ago, but when I was sober, the most of my overwhelming majority of my stories, I was sober when I wrote them, and they're markedly better. But anyway, Edward Van Halen, rest in peace. Such a loss. But there's a lot of examples of that, of people having more clarity, focus. The 2.0 version of them being better than the previous one. Mike Tyson is one of the perfect examples of that. Nearly everyone knows what a train wreck his life was when he was much younger. And part of his journey was once he achieved sobriety, he just does everything better. Whereas the boxing, he's looking pretty impressive right now. But just briefly, so hooray for 17 months of sobriety. I am proud of that because honestly, I really never thought I was going to even want sobriety because I was hell-bent on destroying myself. And I did enjoy my drinking. And many years ago, I did enjoy some pot smoking, to be honest. But so that's part of why I never thought I would even want sobriety, much less achieve it. Again, that's an ongoing process, but the drinking itself is not a problem. I really have pretty much no desire to drink anymore because I drank enough for 5 lifetimes, probably enough for 3 people in 5 lifetimes. Uh, got quite ridiculous at times. I'll tell some stories sometimes, but um, again, I never thought that I would get there. As far as videos, of course, sobriety ties into mental health. My major impetus, and this is when I started a few years ago with this, and then it kind of really focused me more. Last December, I spoke to a class at Parker University in Dallas that is actually an occupational therapy class, but they wanted to know how to. They wanted to know more about how to talk to people with depression and PTSD and different mental illnesses. And I hesitate to say illnesses because they are illnesses, but it puts a stigma on it. So I like to say mental health issues because our whole thing is removing the stigma, ending the silence. And that's one thing I talked to them about was that don't be afraid to ask questions. Of course, be respectful and everything, but you find that a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times, people that are experiencing ongoing mental health issues like PTSD and depression and everything, if you just talk to them like normal people. I've said this several times in other videos too. They're not going to, well, pretty unlikely they're going to pull out a machine gun and shoot you. So I talked about that, the key thing being ending the stigma, ending the silence. But my journey to finding effective help, I found my current therapist. I think we had our first session in August 2017. The journey nearly killed me because I had a previous therapist that did not work out very well. And I don't want to lose my train of thought here. Finding, as I said in another video, finding effective therapy. That's the key word, effective therapy with no money and no insurance. It was kind of just dumb luck. Ended up finding her. It was a friend of a friend of a friend who referred me to this Center for Integrative Counseling, and they set me up an assessment, and we went from there, and that's when they matched us up, and turned out they hit the nail on the head the first time. Making these videos and these podcasts, my number one goal, aside from ending the stigma, ending the silence, my number one goal is to let people know they're not alone out there, and try to give them some guidance, try to give them some little tips about how to deal with PTSD, panic attacks, depression, different things, all things related to that. Just going from my own experience, and I do think that I can help some people with that. I think maybe I have already, but we're just going to keep on going because it's a continuing, especially this stigma around it is a continuing problem in the United States, probably other societies as well. And that's the main thing. Again, letting people know that they're not alone, offering some guidance. Mine was, again, finding mine was a friend of a friend of a friend, and it should be a lot. It shouldn't be that way. So meanwhile, people that are struggling with these issues, they do need voices out there advocating for them, voices out there speaking to them. Number one, like I said, letting them know that they're not alone, and just offering tips from my experience on how to deal with these things. So, people can think whatever they want about these podcasts and these videos. If they don't like them, well, that's okay. There might be the naysayers, or was it the inner voice is the monger that says, "Oh, that's silly, you can't do that." There might be naysayers out there that don't think it's worthwhile or whatever, but they don't matter. What matters is helping people and using what I've learned, because I made worlds of progress in the last few years, and I'm still working on myself too. Had a therapy session Tuesday afternoon. I'm going back again next Tuesday afternoon. It's all good. And we're always an ongoing project. I think all of us, if we want to improve. Muhammad Ali had a great quote. I don't know if I remember word for word, but you can apply it to Mike Tyson, who I mentioned, and I can kind of apply it to myself. And I think Ali said, "The man who looks at the world the same way at age 50 as he looked at it as age 20 has wasted 30 years of his life." So we always, if we want to improve ourselves, we always need to be willing to change, willing to adapt, willing to learn, and all that. So just sharing all of that, wanted to get that out there and just put it on record that I'm going to keep doing these things, and people can make whatever they want of them, but the whole goal is going to be to make this where where there's no stigma and there's no silence. So everyone hang in there. Remember, we are luminous beings. Take care of yourself.